Hey, 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 you guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm going to give you guys a chance to come on in. Come on in. Let me go in and share. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Artesia, how you doing? Beautiful. Good to see you. Come on in, you guys. Come on in. Be sure to share this broadcast. Thank you, boo. Congrats for what? What are we talking about? What are we talking about, girl? Let me know what we talking about. What we congratulating on. It's not shareable. Oh, you must be in the group. You must be watching from a group. Are you watching from the ministry group? Because if you're watching it from a group, you probably won't be able to share. So that may be it. Okay, okay. You guys come on in. Okay, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We're going to get started in just a minute. I'm going to give people a second to hop on. Okay. Tonight we're talking, and I'm super excited about what God is doing and how God is moving. I don't want to update this. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let me log in over here, and then I'm not in, shoot. Okay. All right. All right. All right. So, hey, beautiful. Bible study that slay. I love it. Hey, Jackie, good to see you. All right. Hey, Tammy, how you doing, prophetess? Good to see you. Now, listen, there are many ways that angels show up in the Bible. Okay. There are many ways that they show up. They show up on many different occasions. I'm going to talk about an occasion in particular. And this may be a series for the Bible study that I do, but I'm going to talk about a specific example. And this is the one that God really brought to me. This is the one that he brought to me. Hey, Stacy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Daniel chapter 10. I'm going to share my screen. Y'all, it may look crazy at first, but just kind of bear with me as I do it. I didn't go in on Chrome. If I'd gone in on Chrome, I could have just shared the tab and it wouldn't have done all that extra stuff. But I just was trying to get in because I had a call that ran over. Absolutely. Angelic assistance. Absolutely. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to have to do my entire screen and then shift it to what I need. And I don't have my charger up here. My God. Okay. Hold on. Let me do this. I gotta get my son to bring me my charger. Hold on, you guys. Okay. All right. So let me look over here so I can make sure that it's showing. Okay. There we go. That's what I need. Okay. All right. All right, here we go. Okay. So we are going to be coming from the book of Daniel, and we're going to come from Daniel chapter 10. Daniel chapter 10. And I'm reading, of course, from the New Living Translation. So here it goes. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Cyrus of Persia, Daniel, also known as Belteshazzar, had another vision. He understood that the vision concerned events certain to happen in the future, times of war and great hardship. When this vision came to me, I, Daniel, had been in mourning for 3 whole weeks. All that time, I had eaten no rich food, no meat or wine crossed my lips, and I used no fragrant lotions until those 3 weeks had passed. 3 weeks is what? 21 days, okay? On April 23rd, as I was standing on the bank of the great Tigris River, I looked up and saw a man dressed in linen clothing, with a belt of pure gold around his waist. His body looked like a precious gem. His face flashed like lightning, and his eyes flamed like torches. His arms and feet shone like polished bronze, and his voice roared like a vast multitude of people. Only I, Daniel, saw this vision. The men with me saw nothing, but they were suddenly terrified and ran away to hide. So I was left there all alone to see this amazing vision. My strength left me. My face grew deathly pale, and I felt very weak. Then I heard the man speak, and when I heard the sound of his voice, I fainted and lay there with my face to the ground. Just then a hand touched me and lifted me, still trembling, to my hands and knees. And the man said to me, Daniel, you are very precious to God. So listen carefully to what I have to say to you. Stand up, for I have been sent to you. When he said this to me, I stood up, still trembling. Then he said, don't be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day you began to pray for understanding and to humble yourself before your God, your request has been heard in heaven. I have come in answer to your prayer. But for 21 days, 21 days, the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia blocked my way. Then Michael, one of the archangels, came to help me, and I left him there with the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia. Now I am here to explain what will happen to your people in the future, for this vision concerns a time yet to come. While he was speaking to me, I looked down at the ground, unable to say a word. Then the one who looked like a man touched my lips, and I opened my mouth and began to speak. I said to the one standing in front of me, I am filled with anguish because of the vision I have seen, my Lord, and I am very weak. How can someone like me, your servant, talk to you, my Lord? My strength is gone and I can hardly breathe. Then the one who looked like a man touched me again, and I felt my strength returning. Don't be afraid, he said, for you are very precious to God. Peace, be encouraged, be strong. As he spoke these words to me, I suddenly felt stronger and said to him, please speak to me, my Lord, for you have strengthened me. Thank you, baby. He replied, do you know why I've come? Soon I must return to fight against the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia. And after that, I just need this part right here. I need you to plug the other part up for me, baby. Thank you, son. Soon I must return to fight against the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia, and after that the spirit prince of the kingdom of Greece will come. Meanwhile, I will tell you what is written in the book of truth. No one helps me against these spirit princes except Michael, your spirit prince. Now listen, one of the things that I want us to really get and understand is that there's a reason that God assigns angels to assist us. There's a reason that God assigns angels to assist us, right? Angels have the ability to go between places very quickly. They have the ability to tap into some things that you need. Thank you, son. You're so amazing. Best son ever. Oh my God. Best son ever. And so in this particular example, Daniel had prayed. Now, the thing about it is Daniel had prayed and it seemed like there was no answer forthcoming. It seemed like God had not heard him. It seemed like nothing had happened and nothing was happening. But what we find is we see that here the angel begins to speak to Daniel and tell Daniel, listen, your answer was sent when you first prayed. Your answer was sent when you first prayed. Now, for a lot of us, we find ourselves in positions where we feel like there's no answer. Let me stop sharing. I forgot I got it on. Okay. We feel like there is no answer. We feel like there's no answer forthcoming, that no one's going to show up. We feel like God hasn't heard us. And so we continue to pray the same prayer over and over again, and not understanding that the whole time God has already sent the answer. The answer has already been sent. The problem may be that the answer gets held up. The angel gets held up in battle. You got to understand that there's a whole spiritual war that's taking place over us. There's a whole spiritual war taking place over us, over our destinies, over our purpose, a whole war that's being engaged in between angels and demonic forces. There's a battle that takes place. When I talk to you guys about getting battle ready, it means understanding not only the battle, but the fact that we have assistance waiting for us to call on it, waiting for us to dispatch it, waiting for us to utilize it. And unlike Daniel, we get the opportunity to know in advance that God has already released the answer. So know this. Know that as God has released the answer, that there may be times when the answer is literally held up. Held up, why? Because there's a war that's going on. There's a war that's going on. Now, what I love about God, and I truly appreciate my daddy for who he is. Y'all, I'm so thirsty. I truly appreciate my daddy for who he is, because he loves us enough so that even in our weakness, even when we're faint, even when we're pale and it seems as though the strength, the virtue has gone out of us, that he still is responding to us. He still is responding to us. So in Daniel chapter 10, when it says, and I want y'all to check this out now, when it says, only I, Daniel, saw this vision. This is verse 7. The men with me saw nothing, but they were suddenly terrified and ran away to hide. Why were they terrified and ran away to hide? They didn't see it, but they felt something. Something's going on. Something's going on, right? So I was left there all alone to see this amazing vision. Hey, listen, sometimes you're left alone and you think that it's a problem, but really what it is it's a setup. Sometimes you're alone so that you can see an amazing vision, a vision that you're supposed to see. But if someone else had been there, you might not have been able to see it. So you're thinking that, oh, your life is horrible. Oh, woe is me, because it's just me. And God's saying, I've been waiting to get you alone. I've been waiting to get you alone so that I can show you something that these other people might not get. They might not understand it. They might talk you out of it. They might talk against it. And so rather than show you while you're with them, I'm going to wait until you get alone. And if that means I got to run them off, I got to run them off. If that means that I got to have them scared, then they're going to be scared. But I need you to see this amazing vision. This amazing vision. It says, Okay. My strength left me. My face grew deathly pale, and I felt very weak. Then I heard the man speak, and when I heard the sound of his voice, I fainted and lay there with my face to the ground. There was something about his voice. There was something about his voice that was overwhelming and overpowering to Daniel. It came out, and I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this or not, but I know one of the things that I've experienced is there would be times when I would be talking, or I would be preaching or praying for someone, and then my voice would change. Now listen. The changing of the voice. When my voice would change, I remember one day we were dealing with some spiritual warfare. I was pastoring, my ministry was meeting in Largo, Florida. And there were some things that had been going on, and there was a young lady who was there who was a Wiccan, and she didn't remember how she ended up there, but she ended up there. She ended up coming in, and some things began to transpire. So as I was dealing with the spirits that were trying to move around, right? As I was dealing with that, as I was addressing that, my voice changed. And it changed so much because we got all the kids out of the sanctuary. We sent them into another room just for their protection. And my son came to look in the door because he was trying to figure out, who is this man talking? Who is this big man talking? He said, Mama, you sounded like a big man. And I know I did, because that is the voice of God that emanates through me, right? And that voice is not my voice. Like, I might not remember what's said. I might not understand what's being talked about. I am simply a vessel and a vehicle for God, right? But when I tell you that my voice changed, it changed. Now check this out. Here Daniel is, he's lost his strength. He's weak. You know, he already was weak in the beginning, right? Because he hadn't been eating meat. In translation, he had been fasting. So he had been fasting, and now here he was, and he's experiencing all this stuff. And he's like, well, wait a minute. You know, I don't know what is going on. Like, this is different. But the beauty, and you're going to hear me say that a lot because it is a beauty. The beauty is that God was still moving in the midst of it. It says, then I heard the man speak. And when I heard the sound of his voice, I fainted and lay there with my face to the ground. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to lay with your face to the ground. Don't be afraid to not do what everybody else is doing, or to not do it the way that everybody else is doing it, but simply to do what God has called you to do the way he's called you to do it, right? It says, just then a hand touched me and lifted me, still trembling, to my hands and knees. Lifted me, still trembling, to my hands and knees. And the man said to me, Daniel, you are very precious to God, so listen carefully to what I have to say to you. Stand up, for I have been sent to you. When he said this to me, I stood up and still trembling. Then he said, oh, hold on, y'all, because I'm trying to get it to it. Then he said, don't be afraid, Daniel. Since the first day you began to pray for understanding and to humble yourself before God, your request has been heard in heaven. Since the what, y'all? Since the what? How long had it been? Since the answer had been sent forth? It said since the first day. Since the first day, you know? So we know that from the first day, the answer was already sent, but there was a battle that ensued that delayed him. A battle. A whole battle that ensued that delayed him, right? So it goes on and says, But for 21 days, the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia blocked my way. Then Michael, one of the archangels, came to me came to help me. And I left him there with the spirit prince of the kingdom of Persia. Now I am here to explain what will happen to your people in the future, for this vision concerns a time yet to come. So let's talk, okay? So the answer had been released, right? The answer had been released, but something happened, and the angel couldn't get to him because there was a battle that was taking place. Now, as this battle is taking place, there are all of these things that are occurring internally for Daniel. Daniel found himself being weak. His mind was racing. He was trying to figure some things out. So there were some physical things, some psychological things, some emotional things that were taking place in the midst of everything that was going on. Now, why is this significant? Because you need to understand that when you are at your lowest, when you are on the ground, when you can't figure it out for yourself, you need to be connected to people who can help you figure it out. You need to be connected to people who will know how to pray for you. You need to be connected to people who not only will help you to figure it out or know how to figure it out or help you with the one that you're with. You need some people who understand the way God moves uniquely for people. Now, I say uniquely because, listen, we want to make it cookie cutter. Everybody moves exactly the same way. Everybody's dressed exactly the same way. Everybody likes exactly the same thing. Like, that's too much exactly the same, right? And there's something to be said about the diversity that exists within our relationships. Now, if you can accept diversity in your relationships, you ought to be able to accept diversity within the spirit, right? So this diversity that exists, this diversity is designed so that we can find our individual path, take our individual journey. Why are you saying individual, Dr. V? Because we keep trying to take everybody with us and everybody can't go. Everybody can't handle it. Everybody can't see it, but God will strengthen you when you're weak. He will send you your angelic assistance. He will send the angel to help lift you up, who will touch you and restore you and rejuvenate you and lift you back up so that you can do what it is that God has called you to do. So I don't care what's going on in your life. I need you to understand that angels are assigned to you to move for you and to work on your behalf. But you must dispatch them. It's not this thing where, they just do whatever they want to do. No. You've got to dispatch them. You've got to send them on their assignment. You've got to let them know what you need them to do. You've got to cry out and beseech God. Listen, that's how you get that movement. And check this out. If you pay attention, listen to me. If you pay attention, you will discover that God is strategically moving you and positioning you for his will to be made manifest in your life. Angels play a role in that. They play a role in that. When Daniel said his prayer, and then, it was 21 days, right? It was 21 days that he found himself looking for the answer, searching for the answer, waiting for the answer, right? And when the answer shows up in the form of the angel, my son said, don't wake up Joseph, the baby sleep. When the angel showed up in the form of the angel, Daniel had the opportunity to hear firsthand from that angel what had transpired, what took so long. So often when we're thinking about the holdup and the delays, then we think, who am I to ask a question? Who am I to question God? I know, girl, I'm just loud. I done got loud. But listen, God loves providing us with answers, right? They can't always do it. It's not always going to happen like that. But baby, when he sends his answers work. His answers move. His answers create change. And they gave Daniel an understanding of what was happening in the spiritual realm that he did not realize. He had no idea that there were these wars that were happening in the spirit, that he would be worthy of a war happening, that there was a whole battle designed to delay the answer to get to him. Why? The only time the enemy begins to engage in those kinds of battles is when someone's purpose is significant. There's something significant you're called to do in the kingdom. There's an impact that you're going to have that the enemy is trying to stop. So a war ensues. You're wondering, why is all this crazy stuff happening in my life? Why is this stuff happening to me? Why is this stuff going on? It's because you have great destiny. And to those who have great destiny, you have to remember, to whom much is given, much is required. And so Daniel found out that there was a whole war that took place. But check this out. In the midst of the battle, as everything was going on, right? Michael shows up. Michael shows up because the answer has to get to Daniel. So Michael shows up and says, hey, listen, tag me in. I'm getting ready to take this on right now. And I'm going to hold them down until you get back, so that the angel could get to Daniel, give him his answer, and then come back. You'll notice that he says that when I go back, I've got to go back into battle. And then not only do I have to battle the prince of Persia, but I've got to battle the prince of, I think it was Greece. Yeah, prince of the kingdom of Greece, right? That he was going to come. So listen, there's this whole thing that's going on behind the scenes that Daniel had no idea about, but God needed the angel to get the message to him. One of the ways that angels provide assistance is by bringing us answers. They bring us answers. They're messengers. They bring a message from God. You'll see lots of examples where God sends an angel to send a message. Know this. You have angels assigned to send you messages. So listen, pay attention. If the angel's assignment is to send you messages, then he has to figure out how to get the message to you. One of the ways that happens, if you're not listening or you're not in tune or you can't see or you don't perceive their presence, one of the ways of doing that is through use of signs and symbolism. Signs and symbolism. Thus, we have angel numbers that the angels use to show you, hey, pay attention. They're trying to catch your attention. And then they have meaning associated with them or attached to them. Now listen, for those people who don't believe that God could speak in numbers, God is a very mathematical God, okay? God is a very mathematical God. He understands numbers because he created numbers. Numbers are vibrations. I talked about this earlier. Numbers are vibrations. Music, sounds are vibrations. It is energy. It is energy, right? And so when that energy is released, there's a reason that it's released, right? Because it's trying to accomplish something. You all, I don't want you to miss what God is doing in this season. I don't want you to miss the messages that God is sending you. I don't want you to find yourself in a place where you're looking for God to give you an answer and the answer has been dispatched, but it's being delayed. And you don't understand that you're important enough for there to be a war, a battle being waged in the spirit realm over your destiny. I don't know if you guys saw the Left Behind series, but I remember in one of the books, one of the movies, there was a scene where there was a young man and there was a whole battle that was being ensued, over him, right? For his life and for his destiny. He was depressed, he was suicidal, but it was a war that was going on and the angels were trying to protect him. One of the things I like about the Left Behind series is that it makes you think about that stuff. What's going on in the realm, the spirit realm behind the veil, right? And so as it was going on, the angels defeated the demons of darkness, right? And they were able to pull him out of his depression. You all listen, some of the things that you're dealing with, yes, there are natural components to your life and what you deal with, but there's a spiritual component as well. And so sometimes it is in the spirit realm that something is going on that begins to affect you, and you don't even understand what's going on with you or why you feel the way you feel. But there's a whole war, a whole battle that's being waged for your destiny and your purpose, because the enemy knows if you ever get to it, you've messed him up. That's how powerful you are. That's how much of an impact that you have. And so you got to understand that. Now, listen, I'm not trying to be deep and theological and all of that, but what I'm trying to tell you guys is this: God assigns angels for a reason. He assigns them for a reason. They are to protect us, to give us messages, to comfort us. There are many things that they're going to do. And we're going to talk about this some more next week. And I'm not going to keep you all on here all night. I just need you to know this. This is what I need you to know. At the end of the day, that angel not only brought Daniel a message, but also strengthened him where he was weak. So where Daniel was weak, the angel strengthened him so that he could get up and continue his journey. And when the angel left, he didn't leave Daniel with nothing. He gave Daniel one of the greatest things that he could have given him: hope and understanding. Hope and understanding. Daniel began to look at his situation a little differently after that. He began to understand that there was some stuff that was going on around him that he couldn't see in the natural, but it definitely was moving. So, whatever you're dealing with, whatever you're going through, know that God has released your answer, right? And if it seems like it's delayed, if it seems like it's taking too long, just hold on. Just wait for it. When I was in Atlanta and God held me up at the gas station for me to give the man a word from God, that had purpose. And when that man said, I've been up all night praying and crying, and what you just said to me, that's exactly what I was praying for. That lets you know that not only is God moving and using his angels, right? He will begin to speak to you and move and position you so that you can be an angel for someone else. God is doing it, this new thing, right? Behold, I do a new thing. Shall it not spring forth? Let's let the new thing that God is doing spring forth. Let's trust him. Let's believe him. And let's know that everything that he's doing and everything that he allows is working out for our good. Listen, you guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to Passionate Pursuit of Manifested Purpose Ministries. I want to encourage you, if you feel led, to drop a seed offering to do that. Hold on, let me pull it up. Oh my goodness. God is so amazing. And I also want to ask you guys just to continue to pray for me as I'm on this journey. Continue to pray for me as I'm on this journey. Pray for my dad. Yep, pray for us. Okay, can't find it. So it is all right on Cash App, $, Passionate Pursuit. So let's get ready to take this thing to the next level, to allow God to move in our lives like never before. And if you feel led to give, please feel free to give. Feel free to give and know that you can't beat God's giving. Listen, no matter how you try. That's what the songwriter says. The more you give, the more he gives to you. Let's do it the way that he has called us to do it, and know that he's moving in purpose and on purpose for his glory. I just want you to know that I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Study to show thyself approved, a workman rightly dividing the word of God. I want you to go Google angels in the Bible, right? And just begin to go on a journey. Study it for yourself and see what God reveals to you. You'll be surprised. Listen, I love you guys to life and life more abundant. Mwah. Be blessed.